soha om dore so me je we den je
Mandala offering. So, is it working? So today is the 4th of the 6th Tibetan month, lunar month, which is a very auspicious day. The Buddha's turning the wheel of Dharma, the first turning of the wheel of Dharma. And you Ladakhis have a very firm, unwavering faith and binding precepts with me. And as you have requested, the teaching on the lamp for the path to enlightenment, which we started yesterday, and today we are going to go through the remaining part of the text, and then I'll do a Bodhichitta ceremony. As I said yesterday, so first of all, in any kind of Dharma discourse, on the part of the teacher himself, he or she must teach with a pure motivation, and the audience too should have the motivation of Bodhichitta, which is to say that to have the aspiration to become an omniscient one for the benefit of all sentient beings. And so this pure motivation must be present in this discourse. So let us say the prayer. I seek refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and I'm enlightened. The practices of perfection, giving and perfection of giving and so forth that I do, that I've done, may become, through it, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. To say this 3 times. So, first of all, I wish to say this. These days, in this materially advanced world, and also, together with it, the world which has in which we have so much of scientific thinking through the material physical sciences. So at such a time, the question that arises is whether religion is relevant or necessary. And so at such a time of spread and promotion of education, what is the use and the relevance of religion? If you ask this question, so in reality, however materially developed we may be, it only helps the physical health, but it doesn't help our disturbed mind and emotions. However much there may be a great development and advancement in the material world. So this is very clear. So, of course, this material development is necessary, but together with it, we must have a peace of mind, which is very important. So to achieve this peace of mind, we cannot produce it with machines or through injections. Of course, so the medical treatments will not be able to help with peace of mind, though some disturbances may be suppressed by them. And so, for peace of mind, we should do training of mind by understanding what are the causes that disturb our minds. What kinds of thoughts and emotions cause these problems, and what are the antidotes to them. So we need to contemplate on these matters. So as we already talked yesterday also. Amongst the scientists, modern scientists today, among the scientists, there are those who say meditation and the practice of love and compassion that are taught in Buddhism. And when you go higher, and then regarding the practice of shamatha and vipassana, calm abiding and special insights. So these scientists who have no interest in past and future lives do pay attention and take interest in these topics. So, though there are many different religious traditions in the world, the means by which the religious traditions seek mostly the peace of mind is by praying to a God that they believe in. So apart from that, if we understand the workings of our mind and emotions, and then try to seek peace of mind through that means, this is a very special means. And so this is a tradition that has spread in India with the practice of karuna, compassion, and ahimsa, non-violence. So Buddha deepened this understanding and also expanded on these ideas and practices. So, with the help of different philosophical ideas, the Buddha taught a rational method to counter those states of mind and emotions which disturb our peace of mind. So, mainly, disturbance in our mind, our peace of mind, happens because of our selfish attitude. And so, the ancient Indian practice of karuna, or compassion, and ahimsa, non-violence, do not have to do only with the physical practices of not harming others, because we harm others, cause problems to others because of this undisciplined mind that we have. And so both of the practices of compassion and non-violence have to do with our mind. So in Buddhism we say a disciplined mind is happiness, and happiness is a disciplined mind, and unhappiness, undisciplined mind. And so, of course, all religious traditions of the world do teach love and compassion, but the teaching of these through a rational approach is, and to achieve peace of mind is, in this regard, Buddhism has the broadest teachings and also the most profound teachings to achieve this peace of mind. And so you Ladakhis are followers of Buddhism. And so in whatever changes there may have been in political affairs in your region, your faith in the Dharma has been very firm. So in the past, of course, monasteries were more or less involved in rituals. But over the last many years, since I have encouraged you to advise or suggested you to do the study of Buddhism, and so in Namgyal Monastery also, I have made that suggestion to study Buddhist philosophy. And so people have heeded my advice or suggestion. And today, Buddhists in general, and particularly the Himalayan region of Ladakh and so forth, who follow the Tibetan tradition of Buddhism, have followed this suggestion that I gave, and it has become very beneficial too for you. So, of course, scientists do not have faith in religion, and amongst religion there are many different kinds of religions, but using a rational approach to find out what are the causes that disturb our mind, peace of mind. So the scientists do a thorough investigation into this, and it is found that Buddhism, and particularly the Sanskrit tradition, has the most profound methods for our mental transformation. And so we have the texts written by Master Nagarjuna and so forth, and to counter our negative, disturbing emotions, mental afflictions, such as anger and so forth, the best text that we have is Shantideva's Bodhisattva Charyavatara, because our mind, disturbance of peace of mind, happens because of our self-cherishing attitude and anger and so forth. And so, as we usually talk about the extensive path, contact lineage, the profound view lineage, and then the practice, blessing lineage of the practice and so forth. So we follow the Sanskrit tradition, and we have over 100 volumes of the translated words of the Buddha into our own language, and also over 220 volumes of the exegetical treatises that are translated. And so we have such a rich heritage. And then we also have tens of thousands of commentaries, sub-commentaries written by Tibetan masters from the all the different traditions of Buddhism, Sajanying, Magyo, Kagyu, and so forth. And so we have the richest set of Buddhist teachings. So Buddhism is not something outdated, but in today's world, where there is so much disturbance of mind and emotions in the world, these teachings that we have are very relevant. Sorry. So today, for the Ladakhis, so we are on verse number 38, which says, without attainment of calm abiding. So yesterday we stopped at verse 37, which says, through effort, not real laziness, will accomplish through higher perceptions through efforts, not laziness. So of course, cultivating and developing or attaining clairvoyance is not easy. You need to put effort. Without the attainment of calm abiding, higher perception will not occur. Therefore, make repeated efforts to accomplish calm abiding. So, with regard to calm abiding, which is coupled by the pliancy of body and mind. So, in other words, being able to maintain our mind single-pointedly on an object. So that is the placement meditation or focus meditation. But first we should do, whether it's about an extensive topics or the profound one, we need to do analytical meditation first, and then whatever you have conviction you have gained on those topics, you need to use that in your focusing meditation. So it is not something that we should leave for the future, but we need to do it now. So we have the facilities or the conditions for doing these practices now, and we should do them. So verse number 39, while the conditions for calm abiding are complete, meditative stabilization will not be accomplished, even if one meditates continuously for thousands of years. Thus, maintaining well the conditions mentioned in the collection 4, meditative stabilization chapter, place the mind on any one virtuous focal object. So, with regard to the focal object of shamatha, so there's no difference in that of the shamatha and vipassana are not differentiated on the basis of the focal object. They can have the same object. So you can use shamatha meditation for developing bodhichitta as well as the wisdom realizing emptiness. Verse number 41, when the practitioner has gained calm abiding, higher perceptions will also be gained, but without practice of the perfection of wisdom, the obstruction will not come to an end. And verse number 42 too. So your mind focusing on the true nature of things, though you may have some experience of bodhicitta, but what actually counters our grasping at true existence is that of the wisdom realizing emptiness. Thus, to eliminate obstructions to liberation and omniscience, the practitioner should continually cultivate the perfection of wisdom with skillful means. And so, if your understanding of emptiness is coupled with the mere wish to become liberated, then that leads you to the arhatship. Whereas when it is combined with bodhicitta, it leads you to omniscience, state of Buddhahood. So, the wisdom of emptiness, of course, can help to eliminate our mental afflictions. But when it is coupled with bodhicitta, and it helps to overcome even the obscuration to knowledge. And so, in this venture, we need to have this meditation on emptiness coupled with bodhicitta. Verse number 43. So here we need also to couple these practices of bodhicitta and with the wisdom of emptiness with the other perfections. Verse number 43, wisdom without skillful means, and skillful means too without wisdom are referred to as bondage. Therefore, do not give up either. To eliminate our doubts concerning what is wisdom and what skillful means, I shall make clear the difference between skillful means and wisdom. Verse number 45 also, that. So all these other practices of perfections like giving, morality and so forth also must be integrated. So apart from the perfection of wisdom, all virtuous practices, such as the perfection of giving, are described as skillful means by the victorious ones. And so whoever, under the influence of familiarity with skillful means, cultivates wisdom, will quickly attain enlightenment, not just by meditating on selflessness. So what happens to us is that things appear to have some kind of objective existence. So there is the grasping at true existence and things, and then also, even after having overcome the grasping itself, you are still left with, you may be still left with the appearance of things as if they have some kind of true existence. And so that is the obscuration of knowledge. And therefore, we need to combine the wisdom of emptiness with the with Bodhichitta and the other perfections. And therefore, the verses from the Madhyamaka Avatara, which says, so for myself, my main practice is Bodhichitta and also the wisdom of emptiness. And so, verse number, chapter 6, the third last verse. So, verses, the last three verses in Madhyamaka Avatara are very powerful verses. So for us, whether it's the external things that appear to us or our own experiences that are within, they appear as if they have some kind of objective independent existence. If that were true, if things were to have any objective existence, so the verses that His Holiness quoted are earlier are verse 224 to 226. So if things were to have any intrinsic objective existence, then, and then in verse number 34 of chapter 6, it says, if the intrinsic characteristics of things were to arise dependently, things would come to be destroyed by denying it. Emptiness would then be a cause for the destruction of things. But this is illogical, so no real entities exist. And so what this says is that if things were to have any intrinsic existence, then when you realize emptiness, that realization of emptiness would be like a destroyer of the entities themselves as well. And then it goes on to say in verse 35, chapter 6, thus when such phenomena are analyzed, nothing is found as their nature apart from suchness. So the conventional truth of everyday world should not be subjected to thorough analysis. So though things do appear to have some objective existence, and we have that appearance in our mind, but what we should do is confirm from our own meditation on emptiness to ascertain that emptiness. And so we will be able to, when we come out of that meditation, we'll be able to confirm from our experience that things do not exist the way they appear. And then it goes on to say, in the context of suchness, certain reasoning disallows arising from self or from something other. And that same reasoning disallows them on the conventional level too. So by what means then is your arising established? And so things do not exist the way they appear to us. So it goes on to say in verse 37, empty things dependent on convergences, such as reflections and so on, are not unknown. And just as from an empty thing is like a reflection, a perception can arise that bears its form. Likewise, although all things are empty, they do arise from emptiness in a robust way. And so after coming out of the meditation on emptiness, all these different things will appear to us, and together with it, there is an appearance that they have some objective existence. But because of your experience of emptiness, you'll be able to see or to confirm that they do not exist the way they appear to you. And therefore, you confirm, you are able to understand or see that the things are like illusion, that they do, though they appear to you as if they have some existence, intrinsic existence, they do not have that existence. And therefore, as your experience, the intensity of experience of emptiness increases further, your experience of the illusion-like things also will increase. And so, focusing on the profound view or the profound object of emptiness is what you see, what you do, and then the conventional things do appear to you as if they are like an illusion. So back to verse number 46, whoever under the influence of familiarity and so forth. And 47, understand emptiness of inherent existence through realizing the aggregates, constituents, and the sources are not produced is described as wisdom. As I said earlier, something existent cannot be produced, nor something non-existent like a sky flower. So if something exists, they do not need to be produced by other conditions. If they do have some intrinsic identity in and of themselves, they do not need other conditions to produce them. But if things are utterly non-existent, not only that, if you say that things do not exist, when you say that things do not exist inherently, if you take it to mean that things have no existence at all, then that's also not right. So now something non-existent like a sky flower. These errors are both absurd, and thus both of the two will not occur either. A thing is not produced from itself, nor from another, also from both, also not from both. So, whether you analyze things through the reasonings, such as the reasoning of the lack of existence and non-existence and so forth, nor causelessly either. Thus, it does not exist inherently by way of So next we come across the reasoning called lack of one and many. Verse number 50. And then 51, the reasoning of 70 stanzas of emptiness, on emptiness, the treatise on middle way, and so forth, explain that the nature of all things is established as empty. So as 400 verses say, all, just as the physical faculty permeates all other faculties, likewise ignorance permeates all other mental afflictions. And so because of this grasping at a true existence of self, oneself, then you also tend to become attached to oneself, and then you become attached to me, mineness, and so forth.
매미베 정신병이 동유든지 리고탄스 에네 오마자네 다 조조서야 돼 다 들으셔.
So in the Madhyamaka Avatara, the main reasoning it gives is liberation is when you eliminate those of the common afflictions. Karma afflictions arise from conceptual constructions, and that in turn arise through fabrication, and fabrication is done away with through wisdom or the emptiness. So in the Karika, in the beginning of the text, we come across the reasoning of the Tetra Lama and so forth. So in each of the chapters, there are 27 chapters, and in each of the chapters it deals with different topics or reasonings. And so this becomes the main text for the study of Madhyamaka view. So in our monastic institutions, there may not be many monk students who have memorized the Mula Madhyamaka Karika, but later, in the past, there were not many, but later there are some who have memorized it. And so there are different reasonings that are used to prove emptiness, such as so we should be able to use these reasonings that are taught in the text by applying them in our meditation and practice. So the text here says that things do not exist the way they appear to us. They do not exist that way at all. Thus, whatever is meditation on selflessness, by not observing an inherent nature in phenomena, is the cultivation of wisdom. Verse number 54, just as wisdom does not see an inherent nature in phenomena, having analyzed wisdom itself by reasoning, meditate on the non-conceptuality. And so, with regard to the Madhyamaka view, of course, selflessness is even asserted or is taught by those of the Vaibhashikas and Swatantrikas. So they have some rough understanding of selflessness. But when you go into a deeper understanding of the more detailed understanding of selflessness, then of course, the Chittamatras say that things do not have any external existence, but the mind is still said to have some intrinsic objective existence. But the Madhyamakas, both the Savatantika Madhyamakas as well as the Savatantika Madhyamakas, do get closer to that deeper understanding of the selflessness. But the Madhyamaka Prasangikas, who do not assert any objective existence in things whatsoever, have the most profound reasoning to destroy our clinging to the objective existence. And so, when you think along the lines of the Madhyamaka Avatara, of course, slowly what will happen is, of course, building up on your understanding that you have gained through listening and studying the teaching, and then through reflection, you will be able to gain more conviction into the nature of things, and then you will be able to integrate that understanding and insight in your meditation. And in that way, through familiarization in meditation, you'll be able to tread through the paths of accumulation, preparation, seeing, and then you go along the path and grounds of bodhisattvas. And so this comes through your meditation and practice. So just as wisdom does not see an inherent nature of phenomena, having analyzed wisdom itself by reasoning, meditated on that non-conceptuality, the nature of this worldly existence which has come from conceptualization is conceptuality. Thus the elimination of conceptuality is the highest state of nirvana. And therefore, 56, therefore the subduer also has said that the great ignorance of conceptuality makes us fall into the ocean of cyclic existence, resting in conceptual stabilization. So this is the non-conceptual stabilization. Refers to the combination of Vipassana and shamatha, which is focused on selflessness. Space like non-conceptuality manifests clearly. The retention of mantra engaging in non-conceptual realization says that when bodhisattvas non-conceptually contemplate this excellent teaching, they will transcend conceptuality, so hard to overcome, and eventually reach the non-conceptual state. Having ascertained through scripture and through reasoning that phenomena are not produced nor inherently existent, meditate without conceptuality. And so, here, these teachings mainly pertain to the great vehicle teachings. So you have the skillful means or the method of bodhicitta and other perfections, and then the wisdom realizing selflessness or emptiness. So as Madhyamaka Mula Madhyamaka Karika says, the fabrication is done away with through that of emptiness. So I have also meditated on this. So verse number 58 read, and then verse number 59. Having thus meditated on suchness, eventually after reaching heat and so forth, the very joyful and the others are attained, and therefore, and before long, the enlightened state of mind. And then, with regard to Madhyamaka Avatara, as I quoted these verses at the end of the chapter 6, so I reported my experience of emptiness to my late senior tutor, Gyabje Leongzin Ling Rinpoche. So when I reported him my experience, he told me that you have gained an authentic understanding or insight into emptiness. And so before long you will become a space yogi. So he was my main teacher of the philosophy. Rinpoche mainly taught me Lamrim and the mind training teachings. And so Ling Rinpoche made such a prophecy for me to become a space yogi before long. So when I think about that, when I reflect on that, I feel proud. So on a daily basis, I meditate on Bodhichitta, which is comes from the extensive conduct lineage, and then from the profound view lineage, I meditate on emptiness, and then the great the conduct lineage that has come from down through Shantideva. So I practice the equalizing and exchanging self and others for in the cultivation of bodhicitta. And so, year by year, my experience of these principles has actually become deeper and deeper. So verse number 59 again. So having thus meditated on suchness, eventually after reaching heat and so forth, the very joyful and others are attained, and before long the enlightened state of Buddhahood. And so I feel that I have, actually I'm on the path. So of course you will not see the changes on just in days, but having persevered over months and years and decades, then I see these changes. If you wish to create with ease the collection of enlightenment through activities of pacification, increase and so forth, gained by the power of mantra, also through the force of the right 8 and other great attainments like the good pot, if you want to practice secret mantra, as explained in the action and performance tantras. So these practices of that are mentioned in these lines should be done in combination with the bodhicitta and the view of emptiness. In verse number 62, then to receive the preceptor initiation, you must please an excellent spiritual teacher through service, valuable gifts and the like, as well as through obedience. So you need to mature your mind spiritually first through the initiations or empowerments, so that you become a recipient or an authentic practitioner of Tantra, so such as the Kriya Tantra, Action Tantra, and Performance Tantra, and so forth. And then when you come to the highest Yoga Tantra, not only do you develop shamatha and the vipassana, but you need to use the inner energies through, for example, the 9 rounds of breath for clearing the energies. And so through the practices based on using our vital energies, chakras, and the channels, you also need to increase your experience of bodhicitta and the real wisdom of emptiness. As the Buddha has said in the beginning, after his enlightenment, peaceful and so forth.
유진기 의사디체 다디 에네 간다 가서 차상하지다 섭시디 나라메거는 송구요리 러시게주 똑같이 봐 가네. So profound, peaceful, free of conceptual elaborations, or uncompounded luminosity, and so forth. So you don't just focus on this clear light mind, which is taught in the highest Yoga Tantra, but we need also to use the channels, with energies, and so forth, in order to make this mind manifest in us and become our experience. And so having dissolved the 80 conceptions which are related to the 33, the whitish increase and so forth, and at the end of dissolution of these 80 conceptions, 33 of the increase, whitish increase, appearance, 40 of the white reddish appearance increase, and then 7 of the near attainments. Then you reach the that of the clear light mind. And so you don't only realize emptiness, which is the object clear light, but you do so with the help of this clear light mind, this luminous clear light mind, innate clear light mind.
그래서 영소로 왕국의 대군 남다等于 무주주의 견대요 당부 상계 유진래 저도주의 저도 매배 각배칠 상원시로 원군이 참부를 주의 랑매샤 들베
디강된 상계 상주 유미리 한투님의 주의 시단
Didn't So Yongden Rinpoche is telling His Holiness that he left verses 60, 61 and 62, so because His Holiness was reading 64. So verse number 60, if you wish to create with ease the collections for enlightenment through the activities of pacification, increase and so forth, gained by the powers of mantra, and also through the force of the 8 and other great attainments like the good pot, if you want to practice sacred mantra as explained in the action and performance tantras, then to receive the preceptor initiation, you must please the excellent spiritual teacher through service, valuable gifts and the like, as well as through obedience. Through full bestowal of the preceptor initiation by a spiritual teacher who is pleased, you are purified of all wrongdoing and become fit to gain powerful attainments. And then next verse says that for the celibate monks and the secret and the wisdom initiations should not be taken. So because of the great Tantra of the primordial Buddha forbids it emphatically, those observing pure conduct should not. So pure conduct in the sense of the celibacy should not take the secret and wisdom initiations. So for a monk practitioner or a monastic practitioner who are celibate, you do not take a mudra or a consort who is a human being consort, but of course you do the practice of using this vital energy, bringing it down from the crown chakra down to the tip of the secret place, and then bringing it up again from the secret place to the navel chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra, and then the crown chakra. And so, through these practices, you need, with that practice, you generate that of the spontaneous bliss or ecstasy. And then in the end, you actually actualize that of the clear light mind. That comes through meditation, the power of your meditation. And when you are able to go through this process and thereby the dissolution of the whitish appearance and so forth, through the power of meditation, you will be able to make that clear light mind manifest in you. So verse number 65 read, 66 read. There is no fault if one has received the preceptor initiation and has knowledge of suchness, that is sin to or explain the tantras and perform the burnt offering and rituals or make offering of gifts and so forth. I, the elder Dipankara Sri Jana, having seen it explained in sutra and in other teachings, have made this concise explanation at the request of Jangjubu. And so this concludes the Lamp for the Path of Enlightenment by the great Master Dipankara Sri Jana. It was translated, revised, and finalized by the eminent Indian abbot himself and by the great reviser, translator, and fully attained monk Gevelotu. So next we'll do the Bodhisattva ceremony, Bodhichitta ceremony. So in front of you, visualize the Buddha himself in person. To his right, imagine Manjushri, the wisdom deity. And on his left, Aryatara. So on the right and left of the Buddha, you may visualize Manjushri and Venerable Aryatara. So Manjushri helps to dispel the darkness of ignorance within our mind. And then Aryatara on Buddha's left, as it is said, because of the pandemic today, we can pray to Aryatara to cure us of all sicknesses and diseases, as it is said in his prayer. So the Buddha, Manjushri to his right and Venerable Aryatara to his left. I thought it would be good. I think it would be good to visualize them. And then also imagine or visualize the 7 successors to the Buddha, Mahakashyapa and so forth, and then the 17 Nalanda masters, and then those of the extensive lineage of conduct lineage lineage masters, as well as the profound view lineage masters, and such as Master Nagarjuna and so forth, Maitreya and Sangha, forming the lineage masters of the extensive conduct lineage. And then Master Shantideva and all those lineage masters of the great conduct lineage. So visualize these in front of you. And also so all these protected deities such as Mahakala, Dharmaraja, and so forth. So I usually recite a verse, but I can't remember it now. So I had a very vivid dream about this also. So in any way, we need to establish the truth of the teaching of the Buddha through study and reflection, and then gain conviction in the teaching through reflection and contemplation, and then use that insight in our meditation. So these Dharma protectors who are oath-bound, so in the past, in front of the Buddha, the verse goes, so it doesn't matter. So I had a very clear dream once. So when I had no indications of the efficiency of these Dharma protectors, in my dream I had seen. So in Zakali, the portraits with the 8 auspicious symbols, I have seen in my dream that these Dharma protectors are actually doing their work to serve us. So I was waving these auspicious symbols. So when you do your Dharma practice sincerely, then these Dharma protectors would naturally come and help you. So without practice, even if you may beat the drum and play all these the bone horns and so forth, bone trumpets and so forth, you may play them, but they are only noise pollution. So if you do your Dharma practice sincerely, of course these Dharma protectors will always gather around you. And so here, imagine the Buddha himself in person and other deities. And also, as I said earlier, the lineage masters and so forth, and then the Dharma protectors. So if you do Dharma practice sincerely, they will naturally come to you. And then their retinues and sub-retinues also will naturally come and help you. So, with this, please say the 7-limb practice. I pay homage with my body, speech, and mind to all the Buddhas, past, present, and future, to all those alliance among humans, as many as there are in the worlds of the 10 directions, through the power of the prayer of noble conduct, and so forth. So prostration, offerings, and regret, confession, offering, making offerings, and rejoicing, and requesting the Buddhas to turn the wheel of Dharma, and those who wish to pass away to remain for the benefit and joy of living beings, for as many unseen worlds of atoms. I dedicate the slight merit I have created through reverence, offering, confession, through rejoicing, exhorting, through requesting to the attainment of highest enlightenment. And next, we'll do the Bodhichitta. So we'll do it through this verse. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I take refuge. So everyone has the natural instinct of not wanting suffering, but wanting happiness. And so we need to know what are the causes that bring about happiness and what are the causes that bring about suffering. And so, in order to eliminate or overcome the causes of suffering, if we engage in the practice of study, contemplation, and meditation, will make this life a meaningful one, to have met with the this occasion, to have met it meaningful, met with the Dharma. So for the sake of all sentient beings, have this determination to work for the benefit of all sentient beings. As it is said I seek refuge until I reach enlightenment. To fulfill the interests of oneself and others, I generate the mind of awakening. Having developed a mind for highest awakening, I shall invite all sentient beings as my guests. So I shall invite all sentient beings as my guests for the feast of bliss and happiness. I shall engage in the delightful, sublime, enlightened contacts. May I attain Buddhahood to the benefit of all sentient beings. So please kneel on your right knee. So here, imagine, think that I am here as the messenger of the Buddha, and by repeating after me these lines, but if in fact you should think that you are repeating the words of the Buddha himself, the Buddha's words. So to fulfill the interests of oneself and others, I generate the mind for awakening. So even if you wish to accomplish your own goal, you must generate bodhicitta. To fulfill the goals of others, you need bodhicitta. And you also need to meditate or cultivate bodhicitta to fulfill your short-term as well as long-term goals. And Gonpa masters of the past have said that this bodhicitta itself helps in purifying your negativities as well as accumulating merit and wisdom. And so I ponder on this on a daily basis. So please repeat, I seek refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Community until I attain enlightenment. Through collections of merit and wisdom gained by giving in others, may I achieve Buddhahood to benefit all sentient beings. I seek refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Community until I attain enlightenment. Through the two collections gained giving and others, may I achieve Buddhahood to benefit all sentient beings. I seek refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Community until I attain enlightenment. Through the two collections gained by giving and others, may I achieve Buddhahood to benefit all sentient beings. And also say, I seek refuge in the three jewels. I confess each and every misdeed. I rejoice in the virtues of all beings. I take to my heart Buddha's enlightenment. To the Buddha, Dharma, and highest assembly, seek refuge until I reach enlightenment. To fulfill the interests of oneself and others, I generate mind for awakening. Having developed the mind for highest awakening, I shall invite all sentient beings as my guests. I shall engage in the delightful, sublime, enlightened contacts. May I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentients. Please repeat that again for the second time. I seek refuge in the three jewels. I confess each and every misdeed. I rejoice in the virtuous deeds of all beings. I take to my heart Buddha's enlightenment. To the Buddha, Dharma, and highest assembly, I seek refuge until I'm enlightened. To fulfill the interests of oneself and others, I generate a mind for awakening. Having developed the mind for highest awakening, I shall invite all sentient beings as my guests. I shall engage in delightful, sublime, enlightened contacts. May I attain Buddhahood to benefit all sentient beings. I seek refuge in the three jewels. I confess each and every misdeed. I rejoice in the virtues of all beings. I take to my heart Buddha's enlightenment. To the Buddha and Dharma and highest assembly, I seek refuge until I reach enlightenment. To fulfill the interests of oneself and others, I generate mind for awakening. Having developed the mind for highest awakening, I shall invite all sentient beings as my guests. I shall engage in the delightful, sublime, enlightened contacts. I attain Buddhahood to benefit all sentient beings. So with these lines in the second text, where it says, having developed the mind for his awakening, I shall invite all sentient beings as my guests, is taking the Bodhisattva vow, but it doesn't need further explanation here. So, having been born as human beings and having met with the Buddha Dharma and having this opportunity to practice both the profound teachings as well as the extensive conduct teachings, have this determination to work for the benefit of all sentient beings so that you will integrate these teachings within yourself. Then, as it is said in the Bodhisattva Charya Avatara, today my life has borne fruit. I have attained the excellent human existence. Today I am born in the Buddha's family, and Buddha family, and now I have become a Buddha's child. Now come what may, I shall act in accord with this lineage. never causing this impeccable noble lineage to be tarnished. And then also at the end of the third chapter of Bodhisattva Avatara, so today, in the presence of all the Sugatas, protectors, I invite the world to be guests at the festival of the Sugatahood, and in the meantime, ultimate Buddhahood. Temporary happiness. May gods, anti-gods, and all be joyful. And so with this, we are done with the teaching on Lamb for the path to enlightenment, and as the concluding auspicious practice, we did this Bodhichitta ceremony. So if you have questions now, please ask. So, to Your Holiness, with due respect to you, so we at the Education Center, Kitzel Ling Education Center, would like to ask you questions, the students from this Education Center. This is praise to the Buddha, to His Holiness.
Your Holiness, my name is Sonam Gurmit, and I've done engineering from National Institute of Technology, Kurukshetra. Your Holiness, as we are having an issue, very serious issue of polarization, driven majorly by globalization, resulting in extremism, radicalism, and all sort of extreme approaches on so many levels and in various different aspects in one's individual life, be it religious, politics, or any other socio-economic affairs. Your Holiness, my question is, what is the potential of the Buddhist philosophy, the Buddha Dharma in general, or in the context of Lamrim tradition, or the likes of middle way approach, in particular, to tackle such issue? Thank you, Your Holiness.
So, the different religious traditions, of course, there are the sectarianism that happens is there, but all religions teach altruism, to help others, to benefit others, be it Christianity, Islam, and so forth. And other religions too teach the same message. And so, to help others, serve others, we should also have the motivation of compassion and love, altruism. So we should not just give lip service to these religions that you follow, but if you practice them sincerely, whichever religion you are following, all these religions teach us to have a good heart. So politically speaking also, we follow a democratic system where there is election of the officials. So if you have greater altruism, you will be able to gain more words, perhaps. And if you remain selfish, you will not gain. You will not gain words. So if you have political leaders who are more compassionate and altruistic, it would be more beneficial. And so even in the case of economy and so forth, there will be mutual benefit. So if people use their powers for economic or financial gains and exploit others, that's not good. If people only become selfishly motivated, become cunning, then it will not be good for the community as well. So all religions have the same message of good heart, being kind to others. And then in Buddhism, as we say, I invite all sentient beings as my guests. So, which means that if you are really sincerely practicing this principle of wishing others to have happiness, bringing happiness to others, you will not try to deceive them. So if you practice your religion sincerely from the depths of your heart, then you will not cause any harm to others. As I said earlier, we follow democratic system of governance, and so people would be helped if you are altruistic, and economically also you'll be helped. As Bodhisattva Charabhadra says, if you do not exchange your joy and happiness with the suffering of others, live alone reaching Buddhahood, even in samsara you will not have happiness. So you should think through these lines and see that you are just a single person, others are many, and therefore we should think of serving the many, and instead of just the one person. So this is true what Bodhisattva Charyavatara says. So there, if you live alone with reaching Buddhahood, even in samsara you will not have happiness. So you do not need to talk about past and future lives or anything like that. But if you need support from the public, you need to be altruistic, and you will also not engage in harmful actions. So with due respect to Your Holiness, my name is Jigme Durkar. I'm from Dalhousie Public School in Dalhousie. Your Holiness, it is well known that the Mahayana tradition has flourished in Tibet, Himalayan regions, Mongolian. They all practice the tradition. To practice Mahayana is necessary to train in the teachings for the small scope beings and the medium scopes, and if so, and how? So these three the teachings pertaining to the beings of small scope, or medium scope, and great scope are not meant for different individuals. So in order to cultivate or integrate the Mahayana teachings, you need to understand the suffering nature of sentient beings, which are taught within the context of the beings of the intermediate scope, and then within the context of the beings of small scope, you have the teachings on the impermanence of life and so forth. So the teachings pertaining to the beings of small scope are like those of the elementary school teachings, and then the high school teaching subjects come within the context of the beings of intermediate scope, and then the university and college level teachings are like those of the beings of the great scope. So just like you follow in the school system from the elementary to the junior and senior schools and so forth, you need to go through this process of cultivation of the path that are taught in the three scopes. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My name is Chilla Sangmo, and I'm currently studying in Indraprastha College for Women. I'm honored to get this opportunity to ask you a question personally. Your Holiness, my question is, Recently, these days, youth have been stressing a lot and indulging themselves into toxic stuff. What would you advise them? Thank you, Your Holiness.
So, regarding that, intoxicants such as drugs, these using substances like these show your immaturity, inexperiencedness, and naivety. So, for example, if you take to drinking alcohol, what happens when you drink alcohol is it actually causes decline to your intelligence. In Tibetan custom, we have people who sniff snuffs. And sometimes when they feel sleepy, they use it to wake themselves up. But after having sniffed such substance, you actually make everything dirty, your nose and your body and also the handkerchief that you use. Everything becomes dirty. And so these substances and alcohol and the intoxicants, drugs and so forth, may give some gratification temporarily, but it will make you, pollute you physically. So you actually cause yourself damage because of feeling, because of the gratification that you take temporarily from the temporary bliss. So if you are unhappy, of course, these drugs cannot help you in the long run. They may just suppress some kind of unhappiness for a short time, but they will never help you in the long run. And so you need to think about the faults and disadvantages of self-cherishing attitude and think of cherishing others over oneself. These will help to counter your mental problems. Next question comes from Pema Yudin. The champion of peace in the world, Your Holiness, I pay respect to you. My question is, if things do not have any intrinsic nature and do not exist the way they appear to us, then how do we understand their conventional existence? So, in quantum physics also, they say that the things that appear to us, the external things, do appear as if they have some objective existence. But they say the things do not exist that way. Because if you analyze these things that appear to you, that you cannot have anything. So this is just an mental projection that we have, but things do not exist the way they appear to us. And then in the Madhyamaka philosophy, these are very clearly explained, how things do not exist the way they appear to us. How they appear is as if they have some objective, independent existence. But if you actually look closer at them, you will not find anything having any objective existence. As I quoted the lines from Madhyamaka Avatara and also Mula Madhyamaka Karika, and also Master Tsongkhapa in his three principal aspects of the path. So how things appear to us is as if they have some objective existence. But Master Tsongkhapa says, so long as the two understandings of appearance. No. Verse number 13 of the three principal aspects of the path. So furthermore, when appearance dispels the extreme of existence, and so when you look at the objects themselves, they appear to have some objective existence, but they do not exist that way. And when emptiness dispels the extremes of non-existence, so Madhyamaka Avatara says, verses 34, 35, 36, I reflect on them daily. So since things do not have any objective existence, when you understand the emptiness, well, what it means is that things have no intrinsic identity in and of themselves. And so, because things are dependently originated, dependence means so as John Lama Rinpoche says, by dependence, what we understand is that reality as it is not forsaken. And by arising or origination, it concords with the conventional conventions of the world too. And dependent arising, therefore, like the king of reasoning, is the authoritative, reliable word of the Buddha.
Your Holiness, my question is, I'm very disappointed. Sorry, His Holiness. I'm very disappointed to tell you that anger comes so easily to me, which breaks the rule of ahimsa. Your Holiness, how should I walk with anger so that I won't disappoint others as well as myself? Thank you.
So anger, on the one hand, is a very strong emotion. So there's no reason. It's not based on rationality. So on the one hand, what happens is we assent to what appears to us, as if they have some objective existence, that is. So what does it help? What does anger help you? Why you become angry is because you are not able to fulfill something that you desire. So if with anger, of course, you will not be able to achieve what you want as well. So if you look at the politicians, some politicians are so clever that though they may be upset deep down, but externally they do not show any emotion to others. And they are very and they find ways to deal with others more amicably in the apparent world. So you live in a community, so you are living in a society on which you are dependent. So if you show anger at this community or society that you live in, I mean, you will be at the losing end. And so what you need to do is show patience and think more broadly, think from a wider perspective. And in order to help yourself with your anger, you need to study the Bodhisattva Charyavatara's chapter 6 and the chapter 8. Chapter 6 is on patience. And then chapter 8, which teaches the principle of exchanging, equalizing and exchanging self and others. So sometimes we also say that when you are angry at others, if you show emotion to them, so the other people, when they see you become angry, showing emotion or showing some expression, bad expression, they will not be happy. And so instead of making them unhappy, we usually say that bite at your knuckles. So if you become very angry and bite your knuckles, you will suffer as well, because you will cause injury to your knuckles. So Bodhisattva Charyavatara says the disadvantages of anger and hatred, and as a human being, we live in a society, a human society. It never helps to become angry.
Greetings to Your Holiness. I am Mahek Fatima, a student of Kendra Vidyalaya Leh and also a student of Thiksey Learning Center. I feel fortunate to be part of Thiksey Learning Center, as this center provides education and wisdom to all the individual, irrespective of their religion, caste and gender. Your Holiness, as far as I have perceived, not only Buddhists but all the other religions also believe and show respect to you. What according to you is the main reason?
So this is perhaps because I talk about good heart, which is taught in all religions. So in order to practice good heart or kindness, there are reasons that are given by theistic religions and non-theistic religions, which may be different. There's reasonings they give may be different, but all teach the same thing, to have a good heart, warm heart. For the theistic religions, the Creator God is not at all an angry, full of anger, but full of love and compassion. And so whether you are a believer or not non-believer, so if you are a believer, this is what the religions teach. Even if you are a non-believer, this is something we need, the love and compassion and so forth. Even the dogs and animals appreciate our love. And so all religions teach the disadvantage or shortcomings of anger and the advantage or the goodness of love and compassion, kindness, and so forth. So this is what I tell people, this is what I emphasize to people, for people to cultivate. And then secondly, I find it very important to have religious harmony in the world amongst the religious traditions. Therefore, I respect all religions. I have many friends who appreciate me from the different religious traditions. So I do not practice sectarianism amongst the religions. So the people from different religious traditions, the main reason may be because I respect all religions and also all the practitioners. We are very friendly, close to one another. And then whoever sees me, I always smile or laugh, and you never see me in stern face. with a serious-looking face, and therefore, all people from different religious traditions, maybe this is one reason why everyone appreciates me. So if I were to show a stern face, a very serious-looking face, then people may not appreciate it. So as human beings, I think of others as my human brothers and sisters, all 7 billion. I think of oneness of all 7 billion human beings, and therefore maybe that is the reason why people like me, from the different religious traditions like me.
Thank you, Holiness.
Namlin kendo jewe defancho nikto korwa jute miktikbu kanjan dowe tabu rewe kep.
You are the helmsman of peace in the world of people, the sole eye for the blind who need to be tamed in this generation, the refuge for short and long-term aspirations of the beings of land of snow. We can never see you enough. I bow to you, O protector and refuge. Having begun with these auspicious words of salutation, praise and virtue, I wish to prostrate to your holiness, a crown jewel of samsara nirvana, including the gods, the champion of world peace, the master custodian of the complete teaching of the Buddha. Your Holiness, kind, for some reason and purpose, I shall utter your real name. I wish to make this statement, Your Holiness. Today, according to the request of Ladakh Gonpa Association, Ladakh Buddhist Association, and myself, you have most graciously given us an explanation of the great Joe Atisha's Lamb for the Path to Enlightenment online. We, on behalf of the entire people of Ladakh, would like to thank you for your immense kindness to us. We are sad not to have your presence in Ladakh due to the coronavirus pandemic in the world. I pray that the pandemic will subside soon, and so that we would like to request Your Holiness to visit us in Ladakh next year. By your gracious frequent visits to Ladakh, in the course of which you have given many teachings and exhortations to our people, the people of Ladakh have gained a good understanding of the essential significance of Buddhism. There is also an increasing interest in the Dharma, logic and reasoning and so forth. This, Your Holiness, has come about solely due to your kindness. Your Holiness, kindly look after us and give refuge to all of us, your disciples, never letting us wander from your kind and compassionate gaze. We pray you will answer our prayers with your consent. On my part, as you kindly instructed, I have completed the construction of a Sherab Kitseling Education Center and Library within 3 years. I began the work in 2018 and completed in 2020. Today, we are giving free education to 300 students from different schools in Ladakh who attend our 45-day teaching on secular ethics. We have also prepared curriculum for the schools to include in their teaching. We offer all of them free of cost. On Saturdays, we organize talks by a panel of religious scholars in ethics, peace of mind, kindness, and altruism for the students, and we teach meditation, yoga, and exercise for their physical health as well. Every year, we will give our classes on Buddhism, logic, and debate. We will teach Tibetan language to everyone, young and old. Geshe Laramba Jamyang Tashi is the resident scholar at the Education Center and director of library, and he teaches Buddhist philosophy daily. Also, at my own monastery, Thiksey, Geshe Laramba Lobsang Tash teaches Buddhist philosophy to our younger monks. Following your advice, our monastery provides all the facilities for them year after year. Though we felt sad that Your Holiness could not come to the opening ceremony of our Sherab Kitseling Education Center and Library, we would like to extend our invitation for you to visit Thiksey Monastery when you next come to Ladakh. This year, Honorable Rajnath Singh, India's Defense Minister, was the chief guest at the opening ceremony of the Education Center and Library. In the past, I have carried out your tasks you have given me in accordance with your noble aspirations and visions. Present, I continue to carry them out. I pledge to continue to do so in the future as well. Whatever task you give me. Finally, I pray that Your Holiness will live a steadfast and healthy life without any slightest obstacle. May Your Holiness live till the end of samsara. I beseech you to remain unmoved from the uncontaminated primordial wisdom. Tashi Dalai.